Hi, in this video I'm going to teach you how to create a reusable health bar using Unity. So I'm going to start off by creating a new project. Open up Unity and select new. Then you will get an interface like this. Enter the project name as, let's say, project health. So we don't need to enable Unity Analytics at the moment. I'm going to deselect it. So we are going to use a 2D environment for this project. So let's select 2D, then hit create project. Right, now we are good to go. So now we are inside Unity. I'm going to create some projects folders just for the sake of organization. Alright, I'm going to create a folder called health bar, and inside this health bar folder I'm going to create 4 more folders: prefabs, sprites, scripts, and the final folder would be scenes. Alright, now we have a folder set up, and in the description below I have provided a link. By visiting that link you can download some sprites for the project. So I have already downloaded those, and now I'm going to import those graphics inside our Unity project. There are 2 images called bar fill and bar frame. Alright, now we have imported 2 graphic assets, bar fill and bar frame. Now let's set up the UI for our health bar. I'm going to create a new game object here. Just right click inside the hierarchy, then go to UI, then create a canvas. Canvas is responsible for handling all the UI elements in the screen. You can select some options here. If you go to this canvas scaler component, you will find a drop down called UI scale mode. Make sure you change it to scale with screen size. This allows you to have a UI which adapts according to different screen sizes rather than having a fixed resolution. I'm going to set match to 0.5. So under the canvas I'm gonna create an image. Right click on the canvas and go to UI and then select image, and go to the image component, and here I'm going to add the bar frame. Now if you go to the game view, you will see something like this. So now it's being stretched a little bit, so I'm gonna fix that by selecting the image and clicking preserve aspect. Still it's too small, so I'm gonna hit this set native size as well. So now it's a lot better. So I'm gonna rename this image object to frame. This is basically the frame of the health bar. Inside the frame there will be another graphical area which is the field of the health bar. So right click on this frame and add another image. Go to UI and select image, and for that image we need to add the bar fill. Okay, we are going to do the same for the bar fill as well. Select preserve aspect and press set native size. So I'm going to replace it a little bit. Let's try moving it up a little bit. Okay, now it's much better. I'm gonna name this to fill. Okay, now I'm gonna explain the concept behind this health bar effect that we are going to create. So if you select this fill game object, you will see some options here. If you go to this image type field, you will see a drop down which has 4 options: simple, sliced, tile and filled. I'm going to select filled. There are some other options when you select that. I'm going to set the fill method to horizontal and keep the fill origin to left. Let's try changing this fill amount value. Okay, this is cool. So when you change the fill amount, you can see a change in the health bar. That's exactly what we are going to do in the code as well. We're going to write some code to reduce this health bar value when the player takes damage. So first I will save my scene, hit Command S or Control S if you're on a PC, go to the scenes folder, and I'm going to save my scene as demo. Okay, so I'm going to create a new script called health bar. Right click on the scripts folder and go to create, then create a C# script. Let's name it health bar. Select the frame game object and drag and drop the health bar script to that. Okay, now the frame game object contains the health bar script. So I'm going to open up my project inside Visual Studio. You can use MonoDevelop as well. In my setup I use Visual Studio for Mac. So I'm going to open up the script. Alright, so first I'll start off by deleting all these unwanted code. So basically in this class I will be having some public methods which will be called from some outside script. So I'm going to create a public static reference. I'll name it instance. So inside this awake method, I'm gonna set the instance to this particular object, and I'll add some public methods as well. First one would be public void reduce value, and the other one would be increase value. So when I want to reduce the health, I'm gonna call this reduce value method, and when I want to increase my health level, I'm gonna simply call this increase value method. So this reduce value method will accept a parameter called deduction, and this increase value method accepts a parameter called let's say increment. Reduction is basically how much you want to reduce the health. Increment is basically how much you want to increase. I'm gonna create a serialized field called image bar fill. So during the gameplay I'll be changing the fill value of this image bar fill. Now I'll be creating a new variable called health. We're going to start the health from 100. So now inside the reduce value method I'm going to write some code. When this method is called, I need to reduce my health value. So health equals health minus deduction. Then I need to set the fill amount of the bar. Bar fill dot amount fill amount equals health divided by 100. So I divide the health value by 100 because fill amount is a value between 0 and 1. We can do the same for this increase value method as well, but before that, let's go inside Unity once again and create a new script. I'm going to create this new script just to test the health bar functionality. I'll just name it test. Then I'm gonna add that to the main camera. So I want to reduce my health value when I press the down arrow. So let's write some code for that. If input dot get key down, inside the brackets key code dot down arrow. I'm going to access the health bar using that instance that I created. Reduce value. So I'm going to call the reduce value with the value of, let's say, 20. Make sure you save things. Let's go back to Unity and hit play. Now let's see what happens. Okay, now if I hit the down arrow, the value is reduced. It works pretty well. Let's try playing that again. Now the functionality is there, but I don't like it. The thing is, when you press the down arrow, the values change, but I would like to have some functionality where you could change the value with some smoothness. I need to change the values smoothly over some time, so let's write some code for that. Go back to health bar script. For that new functionality, I'm gonna use a coroutine. Enumerator. I'll name this coroutine lurk value. So basically a coroutine is a function. I'd put it like this. Think of a scenario where you want to execute a line of code and wait for a few seconds and continue. You can use coroutines for that kind of stuff. You can use coroutines to wait for some time. This coroutine will be accepting 3 values. Current value, this is the current health value, and we need to pass in the target health value as well, and finally the duration. Duration is the time period that I would want to reduce the health value. First I'll write some code and then next one. I think that will make things a lot easier. I'm going to create a new variable called elapse. This is just to keep track of the elapsed time. Since this coroutine is called, I'm gonna start a while loop. I'm going to use an inbuilt function in Unity which is called lerp. I'll explain all this later. Alright, I'll explain the code here. So we're going to start off by creating a new variable called elapsed. This is just to keep track of the elapsed time since this lerp value coroutine is called. Then inside this while loop I'm going to execute some code while the elapsed time is less than the duration. So I'm going to use this lerp function. Lerp function accepts three values: from value, to value, and some value for interpolation. For example, if you pass in 0, 1 and 0.5 as the third parameter, in return you will get 0.5. If you pass in 0.3, you will get 0.3 as the result. And in the next line I'm going to set the fill amount to the health divided by 100, and after that I'm adding a delta time to the elapsed time to make sure that it's being calculated and updated. So after that I'm going to wait for the end of the frame using this yield statement. And finally I'm going to set the health value to target value. This is just to make sure that health value is reached the target value if something goes wrong during the lerp function or this inside this while loop. So now we need a way to call this coroutine. I'm going to delete the lines here inside the reduce value method, and I'm going to create a new variable called target value. Target value would be something like this, right? So it should be health minus deduction. Always keep in mind that target value should be something between 0 and 100. So for that I can do something like this. If target value is less than 0, I'm going to set it to 0. There's a better way of doing this as well. I'm going to delete this if condition. In Unity there's a function called mathf.max. A max method accepts two parameters and it returns the larger value out of those two. I'm going to pass in 0 and then I'm going to pass in health minus deduction. If health minus deduction is a minus value or a negative value, this will return 0. It does the same thing as the if condition that we used earlier. So I'm gonna call the coroutine now. Pass in health, target value, And the duration, let's set it to 0.5 for now and see how it goes. We can copy and paste this into the increase value method as well. Here we have to do some changes. Instead of max, we need to use min, because we need to make sure that health value is less than or equal to 100. Here I need to add the increment to the health, so I'm going to change that as well. And after that I'm going to call the coroutine as we did in the reduce value function. Okay, now let's head back to Unity and play this and see what happens. Okay, now I press the down arrow. You can see a smooth transition between the values. It works pretty well, but the thing is, if I hit the up arrow, it doesn't work because I need to write some code for that as well. I'm going to open up the test script and modify it a little bit. If input dot get key down, key code dot up arrow, health bar dot instance dot increase value. I'm going to increase the value by 20 each time we call this. Okay, now if I hit the down arrow, the value is being reduced. If I hit the up arrow, okay, something went wrong there. Let's check what it is. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake there. So if you go back to this health bar script, inside this increase value method, we need to set this value to 100. Earlier it was 0, that's why it was behaving in a weird manner. So once we set it to 100 and play, it should work fine. Alright, now it works fine. Alright, I think we have come to an end. Finally, I would like to show you how to export this as a Unity package, so you can import this into a new project and reuse it. That's pretty simple. Select this health bar folder and right click on it, and then select export package, and you can see some stuff here. Okay, first I will make this health bar a prefab. Select the frame and drag and drop into this prefab folder. So now this frame has become a prefab. This is a reusable game object. I'll just name it to health bar. Okay, now I'll right click on this health bar once again and select export package. Now select the health bar folder, and I'm gonna just deselect this library thing here. Then hit export, then select a location and a name for the package. I'll just type in health bar and hit save. Okay, now it's been saved as Unity package that you can export that you can import and use it in your Unity projects. So I think that's it for this tutorial. So I'm planning to do a lot more videos in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. So subscribe to my channel and keep making games. Thank you.